For decades, America has been the dominant global power, but the world is changing. New players are stepping up, and some are starting to give Uncle Sam a run for his money. Let's dive into 7 rising powerhouses, examining their strengths, strategies, and flaws. First up, the European Union, a collection of nations that once spent their time invading each other for sport, now teaming up economically. This union, born out of the ashes of 2 devastating world wars, represents a remarkable shift from conflict to cooperation. The EU's formation was driven by the desire for lasting peace and stability in Europe, and it has grown into a powerful economic and political entity. The EU's economic clout is significant, with a collective GDP rivaling the US. This economic powerhouse is not just about numbers, it's about the quality of life for its citizens. The single market allows for the free movement of goods, services, capital, and people, creating opportunities and fostering innovation across member states. Beyond dollars and cents, the EU sets global standards on data privacy and environmental protections. The General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, has become a benchmark for privacy laws worldwide, ensuring that individuals have control over their personal data. On the environmental front, the EU is committed to ambitious climate goals, aiming to become the first climate-neutral continent by 2050. Diplomatically, the EU often presents a united front pushing for multilateral solutions. This collective approach allows the EU to wield significant influence on the global stage, whether it's negotiating trade deals, addressing global challenges like climate change, or promoting human rights and democracy. Think of it like a friend group where everyone's a mess individually, but together, they're functional and intimidating. Each member state brings its unique strengths and perspectives, contributing to a richer, more diverse union. This diversity is a source of strength, enabling the EU to tackle complex issues with a multifaceted approach. The EU is investing heavily in green technologies and stricter climate regulations, positioning itself as a global leader. Initiatives like the European Green Deal aim to transform the EU's economy for a sustainable future, reducing greenhouse gas emissions and promoting renewable energy sources. They're also forging their own path in digital policy, challenging American tech giants. The EU's digital single market strategy seeks to create a seamless online environment, fostering innovation and competition while protecting consumers' rights and data. These moves force the US to reconsider its approach and adapt. The transatlantic relationship is complex, with both cooperation and competition shaping the dynamics. The EU's assertiveness in areas like digital policy and climate action often sets the agenda, prompting the US to respond. Underestimate the EU at your peril, they are a force to be reckoned with. While the EU's military capabilities are often overshadowed by NATO, its comprehensive approach to security includes economic, political, and social dimensions, making it a formidable player in global affairs. In this interconnected world, even superpowers need to play nice with others. The EU's emphasis on multilateralism and cooperation reflects the reality that global challenges require collective solutions. By working together, nations can achieve more than they ever could alone, ensuring a more stable and prosperous world for all. Next, we journey to the Middle East, focusing on Iran. Iran undermines US interests by supporting groups like Hezbollah and militias in Iraq and Syria. The nuclear issue adds tension, with Iran insisting its program is peaceful, but the US remains skeptical. Despite sanctions and threats, Iran maintains power and expands influence. They've become adept at exploiting international divisions to their advantage. Iran is a constant thorn in American foreign policy. Until the US engages with Iran pragmatically, this relationship will remain a major source of instability. Iran's resilience keeps the US on its toes. Now, let's talk about China, the big kahuna challenging US dominance. This vast nation with its rich history and culture has emerged as a formidable force on the global stage. From the ancient Great Wall to the modern skyscrapers of Shanghai, China's transformation is nothing short of extraordinary. China's rise has been meteoric, transforming from a poor society to a global economic powerhouse. Over the past few decades, China has lifted millions out of poverty, built sprawling megacities, and become the world's second largest economy. The rapid industrialization and urbanization have been key drivers of this growth. They're investing heavily in technology, AI, and military modernization to become the dominant global power. Chinese tech giants like Huawei and Tencent are leading the charge in innovation, while the government pours resources into cutting-edge research and development. The modernization of the People's Liberation Army showcases their ambition to project power far beyond their borders. The Belt and Road Initiative extends their influence globally. This ambitious project aims to connect Asia with Africa and Europe through a network of trade routes, fostering economic cooperation and development. By investing in infrastructure projects across the globe, China is not only boosting its own economy, but also gaining strategic footholds in key regions. In the South China Sea, China's actions challenge freedom of navigation and the international order. The construction of artificial islands and the militarization of these outposts have raised tensions with neighboring countries and the international community. These moves are part of China's broader strategy to assert its dominance in the region. China plays the long game, gradually reshaping the existing order. Through strategic investments, diplomatic engagements, and long-term planning, China is positioning itself as a key player in global governance. Their approach is methodical and patient, focusing on building influence over time rather than seeking immediate gains. This forces the U.S. to confront the reality of a multipolar world. The era of unchallenged American dominance is fading, and the U.S. must navigate a complex landscape where multiple powers vie for influence. This new reality requires a reassessment of strategies and alliances. The U.S. must adapt to maintain its influence and relevance. This means investing in its own technological advancements, strengthening diplomatic ties, and ensuring its military remains capable of deterring potential adversaries. The competition with China is not just about economic might, but also about technological and military supremacy. China's rise is a unique challenge, requiring strategic responses. The U.S. and its allies must develop comprehensive strategies that address the multifaceted nature of China's ascent. This includes economic policies, military preparedness, and diplomatic initiatives aimed at countering China's growing influence. The world is no longer a unipolar playground for the U.S. As China continues to rise, the global order is becoming increasingly multipolar, with various nations asserting their influence. This shift presents both challenges and opportunities, requiring a nuanced and strategic approach to international relations. From the dragon, we move to the bear, Russia. A nation with a storied history and a complex present, Russia's influence on the global stage is undeniable. Russia may not be an economic powerhouse, but its military and geopolitical influence remains strong. The Russian military, with its vast arsenal and advanced technology, continues to be a formidable force. The annexation of Crimea and support for separatists in Ukraine put Russia at odds with the U.S. This bold move showcased Russia's willingness to assert its dominance in its near-abroad, challenging international norms. In Syria, Russia's intervention shifted the balance of power, frustrating the U.S. By supporting the Assad regime, Russia not only secured its interests in the Middle East, but also demonstrated its capability to influence outcomes far from its borders. Russia uses cyber warfare, disinformation, and espionage to undermine U.S. influence. These modern tools of conflict allow Russia to project power and sow discord without direct confrontation. Cozy relationships with China and Iran challenge American hegemony. By forging strategic alliances, Russia creates a counterbalance to Western influence, ensuring it remains a key player on the global stage. Russia revels in chaos, using it to its advantage. Whether through direct intervention or more subtle means, Russia thrives in environments where uncertainty reigns, turning instability into strategic opportunities. The U.S. can no longer take its global dominance for granted. With Russia's persistent efforts to challenge and disrupt, the balance of power is continually tested. Russia is a master of disruption, keeping the U.S. on its toes. Under the leadership of President Putin, Russia has perfected the art of geopolitical chess, always staying one step ahead in the game of global influence. Now let's head south to India, a rising power with a growing appetite for global influence. With a booming economy and strategic location, India challenges China's dominance. The U.S. sees India as a key ally, but must respect its independence. India maintains ties with Russia, balancing its strategic partnerships. Tensions with Pakistan add complexity to U.S.-India relations. India is a valuable but independent ally for the U.S. The U.S. must navigate this relationship carefully. Finding common ground is crucial for a lasting partnership. Turkey, under President Erdogan, is the unpredictable wild card of international relations. Strategically located, Turkey plays different powers off against each other. They've cozied up to Russia and launched military incursions into Syria. The US must find a way to work with Turkey while pushing back against problematic actions. Turkey's relationship with the Kurds complicates matters. The US needs a nuanced understanding of Turkish politics and regional dynamics. Turkey is too important to ignore but too independent to control. It's a diplomatic headache of epic proportions. Finally, let's head south to Brazil, a sleeping giant starting to stir. Under President Lula, Brazil pushes for a multipolar world order. Strengthening ties with emerging economies, Brazil challenges the US-led order. Brazil advocates for developing countries and greater representation in international institutions. The US watches Brazil's rise with interest and apprehension. Brazil's environmental record and domestic challenges add complexity. The US must engage with Brazil as an equal partner. 7 countries, each with unique strengths and ambitions, are reshaping the geopolitical landscape. The world is becoming increasingly multipolar, with shifting alliances and competing ideologies. The US must decide whether to cling to unilateralism or embrace a collaborative approach. This decision will determine America's place in the world and the future of global peace and prosperity. How will the US respond to these challenges? Stay tuned for our next article on strategies for maintaining American influence in a changing world.